I first read Amy's book in January 2016 and I fell in love with it. I knew that there was a powerful cinematic adaptation that we could make, and I was determined to get to know Amy and work together to find the right filmmakers.
Nora was the ideal person to work with, being a director and writer, so we could work closely together. I helped with the kind of emotional truth and the reality of it, and she brought all her knowledge about structure and filmmaking and just her kind of keen intellect and curiosity and listening. We did a lot of just talking about alcoholism and my life.
When I read the book, I was so moved by the depth of Amy's inner journey and by her brutal honesty.
It's about a story, about struggle, but the addiction is just one part of it. I think it's also a bit about where you fit in the world.
Rona is based on Amy Liptrot and her life. I wanted to play Rona because, as everyone else has done, I've been affected by addiction, in particular alcoholism myself. It's an illness that has caused pain and frustration and sadness in my life, and I finally felt at a place where I really wanted to explore that from the other side.
Saoirse's perfect for most of the roles. I mean, she's amazing, you know. It's a gift for any director to work with her. I think it was also a great adventure to see her in a role where she isn't in control of everything, you know, where she isn't the strong one in the room, but where she is the messy one.
I think there is something about alcoholism that we're so used to seeing that just through the lens of the person that's going through it, but it's something that affects the person, the relationship, the friendships, the families.
Papa, you know, he's magical in terms of he's strong, but he's so vulnerable at the same time, and he can transport so much with just, you know, his expressions, and I'm so glad we got to work together.
Orkney is a cluster of islands off the north coast of Scotland, and we began our Orcadian leg of the shoot on the mainland, which is where Amy Liptrot grew up.
The Orcadians welcomed us, and they taught us, and they helped us.
We knew that they were big supporters of Amy's, and of course, you know, she grew up there, she wrote the book there, and they were very supportive of her story.
We instantly fell in love with the landscape, with the wildlife. We were just constantly being inspired by the place, and I got this tattoo to celebrate my experience on Orkney because it was just life-changing.
Nature had to be such an important part of this film.
You have to really be in tune with nature, not fight against it.
It just became a family. We became so close to one another. We'd skinny dip together, and we'd dance into the early hours of the morning together, and we spent all of our time together. We lived together, we ate together. It was just a beautiful experience.
It's a complex, high-quality piece of art that people are going to see all sorts of different things in, and I'm very interested to hear people's responses.
The Outrun is such an important story. It offers audiences hope and inspiration that you can build your life up again even after having destroyed it, and that nature and community can offer so much. Personally, I have found it incredibly inspiring. I know audiences will too.
We started with Orkney being sort of gray and bluish and a bit bland, you know, she doesn't want to be there. Whereas London, where she's longing to be, is bright and fun and colorful and vivid and moves around. And then through time, the London memories get more distorted and weird and ugly and broken. And in that time, you know, Orkney opens up and gains color and becomes vivid. And so they sort of do a crossover. And in addition to those two layers, we have the nerd layer, which is her inner life, which is completely sort of anarchic. It's free, you know, it's like documentary, animation, found footage, whatever. It can be whatever, because her brain is free in that sense. Most of it always starts for me with the question of how does the character see it? It was always clear, you know, that this film needed to be an audio-visual experience, that you experience Rona's states, you know, her drunkenness, her delirium, her messiness, but also the ecstasy, but also the nature, not just in a sweet, nice way, but in an extreme way. And you experience this with her through her eyes and ears. You sort of get an understanding of when does the film need to be loud, when is it quiet, when does the sound sort of need to get broken, you know? And how long do we have to hold off the wind so that it really, you know, surrounds us when she takes her headphones off.
Yeah, I think Nora is an incredibly courageous director and a brave director.
She never shies away from the harder edges, but she always brings a lot of beauty and compassion.
We did a lot of just talking about alcoholism and my life.
The book is very much an internal story, and she did so well with System Crasher that we thought she'd be really appropriate for this film.
It was her vision for the Outrun, the different layers of storytelling, her desire to remain faithful to the spirit of Amy's book, and also the respect that she showed to the real people and the real places, and all of that just made me completely certain that she was the perfect director for the Outrun.
Orkney is a cluster of islands off the north coast of Scotland, and we began our Orcadian leg of the shoot on the mainland, which is where Amy Liptrot grew up.
The Orcadians welcomed us and they taught us and they helped us, you know.
We knew that they were big supporters of Amy's, and of course, you know, she grew up there, she wrote the book there, and they were very supportive of her story.
It became a mixture of fact and fiction because Rona is a character, but then they were filming in real life locations such as my dad's farm and caravan and the house on Pape where I lived.
It was wonderful to work with the people from Orkney. We have many of them in front of the camera, but also behind the cameras, you know. We couldn't have done a film in so small communities without the support. When we went to shoot on Papa Westry, the tiny island, I mean, our film team almost doubled the number of people on that island.
We were staying in people's homes, we were staying in the local hostel.
So people would take us in and we would sit with them at the table and they would feed us, you know.
We held a town meeting and made sure that we got all of the community on board. So it was really about embracing the island, embracing the people that lived there, and kind of asking them to kind of let us come and be part of their lives, because they are also a big part of the film.
We instantly fell in love with the landscape, with the wildlife. We were just constantly being inspired by the place, and I got this tattoo to celebrate my experience on Orkney because it was just life-changing.
Nature had to be such an important part of this film. We went up to film in total 4 times. We had to go when the lambs are born in April, and when the birds are nesting in June, and then when the seals are swimming in September, and then we went in a tiny unit again in February to capture some snow.
I helped deliver lambs, we swam with seals, we were very sort of immersed in the place.
We always had to be flexible. What weather is tomorrow? Is it sunny or rainy or windy? And depending on what we needed, we had to adapt.
You have to really be in tune with nature, not fight against it. So I first read Amy's book in January 2016, and I fell in love with it.
When I read the book, I was so moved by the depth of Amy's inner journey and by her brutal honesty. And it hit home with me, you know. I wanted to go to the edge of the world on this discovery of, you know, healing. And of course, I wanted to work with Saoirse.
It's about a story about struggle, but the addiction is just one part of it. I think it's also a bit about people's mental health and also where you fit in the world. And so we have this story of a young woman who falls into addiction, and we then are with her and we go through her experiences and learn how difficult it is to come out of that the other side. I think it's a really beautiful, inspiring story, you know, because you end up being with this woman and she goes back to nature to fix herself. And there's just something very universal about that.
I knew that there was a powerful cinematic adaptation that we could make, and I was determined to get to know Amy and earn her trust and work together to find the right filmmakers. I wrote her a bit of a love letter, pitching myself as somebody who really understood her story and had the ambition and the care to look after the cinematic adaptation of her book.
Nora was the ideal person to work with, being a director and writer, so we could work closely together. I helped with the kind of emotional truth and the reality of it, and she brought all her knowledge about structure and filmmaking and just her kind of keen intellect and curiosity and listening. We did a lot of just talking about alcoholism and my life.
Rona is based on Amy Liptrot and her life. We chose to change the character's name from Amy's.
Because, I mean, Saoirse, Amy, and I, all the three of us, we needed some creative distance in order to be free when it comes to telling the story. And then we had a Zoom and, we're discussing different names, and Amy suggested Rona, which is the name of a tiny island behind the horizon when you look out to the sea from the Outrun. And Saoirse loved Rona, and she said Ronan, her last name, means little seal. So Rona is very related to that, and it's an anagram to Nora also. So, we're like, okay, let's go for it. And then we created this character where the three of us, sort of blended in a way to create a woman that reflects on us, but it immediately allowed us to be, free.
I wanted to play Rona because, as everyone else has done, I've been affected by addiction, in particular alcoholism myself. It's an illness that has caused pain and frustration and sadness in my life, and I finally felt at a place where I really wanted to explore that from the other side. There are no rules when you're playing someone who's under the influence like that. There's no logic necessarily to how they behave. So that meant that I could go to the absolute extreme with this character. I could make her incredibly low, tragic, mean, nasty, ugly, wonderful, funny, joyful. It just gave me the opportunity to explore every aspect to a person's personality, which of course is a gift as an actor.
I think there is something about alcoholism that we're so used to seeing that just through the lens of the person that's going through it, but it's something that affects the person, the relationship, the friendships, the families. It echoes outwards, and I wanted to portray or embody or exist in that space between those two characters. I've got friends who have had really difficult relationships who are in recovery now or have been in recovery. I spoke to them partly about their own experiences, but mostly about their relationships. The effort or the intention to try and save relationships as opposed to walk away from it. Because I think that was the thing that was most interesting about dating. It was about the effort or the striving to save the relationship as opposed to desperation to leave the relationship.
I was a huge fan of Papa SU anyway, as everybody is, and we did chemistry reads over Zoom, and we just had instant chemistry with one another. We laughed at the same things, we had the same sense of humour. Again, it was a lot of improv, so if you don't have that chemistry with someone, it shows, and we really did. So we knew that Papa was the right person for the job.
We spent a lot of time together, and we spent a lot of time talking about other stuff, It was about never trying to apply a certain shape to the relationship, saying that it's a bad relationship or it's a failed relationship. It was about really imagining and living in the fact that these are two people who are very much in love and very much kind of codependent on each other. To try and find something about that relationship that didn't feel like it was judgmental or didn't feel like it was distant, but actually felt intertwined and close.